If sound intensity is 8 watts m2, the dB level of this sound is about A 5 dB, B 50 dB, C 129 dB, D 1290 dB. The correct answer is 129 dB. The distance of a direct broadcasting satellite from Earth's surface is about A 1000 kilometers, B 10,000 kilometers, C 36,000 kilometers, D 55,000 kilometers. The correct answer is 36,000 kilometers. Which of the following microphones has an inbuilt amplifier? A condenser, B moving coil, C ribbon, D carbon. The correct answer is condenser. UHF range is A 3 to 30 MHz, B 30 to 300 MHz, C 300 to 3000 MHz, D 3000 to 30,000 MHz. The correct answer is 300 to 3000 MHz. In asynchronous TDM for N signal sources, each frame contains M slots where M is usually A less than N, B 2N, C N, D greater than 2N. The correct answer is greater than 2N. How much is contributed by each bit in the code word of a PCM system under uniform and symmetric quantization to the signal-to-noise ratio? A 3 dB, B 4 dB, C 5 dB, D 6 dB. The correct answer is 6 dB. Noise which assumes great importance at high frequencies is A flicker noise, B Johnson noise, C transit time noise, D short noise. The correct answer is transit time noise. Which one is analog continuous modulation technique? A AM, B DM, C PAM, D PCM. The correct answer is AM. AM transmitter employing low-level modulation. A uses class C amplifier for amplification. B requires higher audio power. C has a poor efficiency. D has a higher efficiency. The correct answer is has a poor efficiency. As the area of a public meeting increases, the amplifier power output required increases. A true, B false, C, D. The correct answer is true. The number of spectral component when two cosine waves are multiplied of different frequency. A1, B2, C8, D4. The correct answer is 4. Radiation resistance of an antenna is A DC resistance, B AC resistance, C either A or B, D none of the above. The correct answer is AC resistance. A 1 MHz sinusoidal carrier is amplitude modulated by a symmetrical square wave of period 100 sec. Which of the following frequencies will not be in the modulated signal? A 990 kHz, B 1010 kHz, C 1020 kHz, D 1030 kHz. The correct answer is 1020 kHz. The input to a coherent detector is DSB-SC signal plus noise. The noise at the detector output is A in phase component, B quadrature component, C 0, D the envelope. The correct answer is in phase component. All of the output pulses are at full transmitter power for a strong signal in all of the following except A PWM, B PAM, C PFM, D PCM. The correct answer is PAM. A pure tone at 1000 Hz has a dB level of 40 dB. If the required dB level is 100, the number of such tones is A 2.5, B 60, C 10.4. D 10.6. The correct answer is 10.6. The spectrum of the white noise and an impulse function is similar in following aspects. A. Both have similar magnitude spectrum. B. Both have similar magnitude and phase spectrum. C. No relation. D. Similar phase spectrum. The correct answer is both have similar magnitude spectrum. In a telephone system, the grade of service means A. The quality of sound reception at the receiver telephone. B. The probability that a called for connection is established. C. The type of wires cables used for the system. D. None of the above. The correct answer is the probability that a called for connection is established. A long-wave AM broadcast transmitter needs A. Very small carrier power. B. Very large carrier power. C. Small carrier power. D. Large carrier power. The correct answer is very large carrier power. AC voltage is applied to the stages which are A. Before the detector stage. B. After the detector stage. C. Either before or after the detector stage. D. None of the above. The correct answer is before the detector stage. LCD uses A. Nematic crystals. B. Sematic crystals. C. Cholesteric crystals. D. Twisted nematic crystal. The correct answer is twisted nematic crystal. Which of the following stage is not present in AM receiver as compared to FM receiver? A. AM amplifier. B. Demodulator. C. Amplitude limiter. D. AF amplitude. The correct answer is amplitude limiter. The function of duplexer in a radar is A. To permit the use of same antenna for transmission and reception. B. To provide gain to the transmitted power. C. To amplify the received signal. D. Both B and C. The correct answer is to permit the use of same antenna for transmission and reception. If E10 cos 2p x 10 8t 20 cos 2p 10 3t, the bandwidth is A. 10 8 Hz. B. 42 kHz. C. 21 kHz. D. 10th August 2010 3 Hz. The correct answer is 42 kHz. In FM, as the modulating frequency decreases and the modulating voltage amplitude A. increases, the modulation index increases. B. decrease, the modulation index increases. C. remains constant, the modulation index increases. D. remains constant, the modulation index decreases. The correct answer is remains constant, the modulation index increases. Modulation system used for video modulation in television broadcast is A. SSB AM with carrier. B. SSB with carrier suppressed. C. DSB AM with carrier. D. A modified form of SSB with carrier called vestigial sideband. The correct answer is a modified form of SSB with carrier called vestigial sideband. The highest modulation frequencies typically used in FM broadcast is A. 5 kHz. B. 10 kHz. C. 15 kHz. D. 25 kHz. The correct answer is 15 kHz. The intermediate frequency of a superheterodyne receiver is 450 kHz. If it is tuned to 1200 kHz, the image frequency will be A. 750 kHz. B. 900 kHz. C. 1600 kHz. D. 2100 kHz. The correct answer is 2100 kHz. In the above case, the modulation index will be A. 9.6. B. 28.8. C. 57.6. D. 100. The correct answer is 100. Which of the following statement regarding single sideband SSB transmission is not correct? A. In such transmission only or sideband is transmitted leaving off the other sideband and the carrier. B. It has gained general acceptance of use in home entertainment equipment. C. It is generally reserved for point-to-point communication. D. The amount of power and bandwidth necessary to be transmitted for a given amount of information are appreciably reduced. The correct answer is, it has gained general acceptance of use in home entertainment equipment. For demodulating PCM, it is first converted into A. PDM, B. PPM, C. PWM, D. PAM. The correct answer is PAM. One of the advantages of base modulation over collector modulation in a Class C transistor amplifier is A. Higher efficiency, B. More linear operation, C. More power output per transistor, D. Lesser requirement of modulating power. The correct answer is lesser requirement of modulating power. In an AM transmitter after the modulation stage Class C amplifier, A can be used, B cannot be used, C may be used but it has no use, D can't be determined to use. The correct answer is cannot be used. The maximum number of AM broadcast stations that can be accommodated in a 100 kHz bandwidth for the highest modulating frequency of 5 kHz will be A. 100, B. 20, C. 10, D. 1. The correct answer is 10. For a short dipole having an effective length less than half the wavelength, the radiation resistance is A. Proportional to length, B. Proportional to square root of length, C. Proportional to square of length, D. None of the above. The correct answer is proportional to length. In a low-level amplitude modulated system, the amplifier modulated stage must be A. Class C, B. Linear, C. Non-linear, D. Harmonic. The correct answer is linear. A noise can be represented as superposition of spectral components. When this noise is passed through a narrowband filter, the output of filter should look like A. Sinusoidal, B. Rectangular, C. Triangular, D. None of the above. The correct answer is sinusoidal. A narrowband noise show A. AM only, B. AM and FM, C. FM, D. PCM. The correct answer is AM and FM. The upper and lower side frequencies for 3 kHz audio modulation with a 27 MHz carrier frequency will be A. 30 and 24 MHz, B. 27.3 and 26.7 MHz, C. 27.3 and 26.97 MHz, D. 27.3 and 26.97 MHz. The correct answer is 27.3 and 26.7 MHz. Consider the following advantages of phase array radar. A. 123, B. 134, C. 234, D. 14 only. The correct answer is 234. The modulation index of a narrowband FM signal is A. Nearly equal to 0.3, B. Much less than unity, C. Nearly 0.5, D. Much more than unity. The correct answer is nearly equal to 0.3, which is a digital coding technique. A. PCM, B. DM, C. DPCM, D. All. The correct answer is all. Which of the following noise sources is different from others? A. Cosmic, B. Solar, C. Atmospheric, D. Galactic. The correct answer is atmospheric. For the transmission of normal speech, the PCM channel needs a bandwidth of kHz. A2, B4, C16, D32. The correct answer is 4. In VHS format, width of audio track is A 5 mm, B 2 mm, C 1 mm, D 0.1 mm. The correct answer is 1 mm. In a plate modulated class C amplifier, the peak supply voltage is V. The maximum plate cathode voltage can be A 1V, B 1.5V, C 2.5V, D 4V. The correct answer is 1V. In a single sideband suppressed carrier AM system, the modulation index is changed from 0 to 1. The power content of the signal A will be quarter, B will be doubled, C will increase by 50%, D will increase by 25%. The correct answer is will increase by 50%. NIPA is A larger than a decibel, B smaller than decibel, C equal to 1 decibel, D none of the above. The correct answer is larger than a decibel. AP matching network for coupling the transmitter output of the antenna is shown in figure. In this, C2 should be tuned for A minimum DC plate current, B maximum DC plate current, C maximum RF antenna current, D specified value of the DC plate current. The correct answer is maximum DC plate current.